Okay, on the Mpgymbox podcast today, we have another episode of our weekly boxing chat with Jason Patterson. How you doing, Jace?
I'm doing good, Coach. How you doing, man?
All right, man. All right. Still in lockdown, but it is what
Yeah,
it.
still on lockdown. Nothing changed. Staying at home, staying safe. How about you?
Exactly the same, mate. Weather's getting a little bit better, though. Weather's getting a little bit better outside, so that's a little bit more.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about it. I'm just still in the house.
Yeah. So, what I wanted to talk about today is on the podcast, what we spoke about is the last 2 to 3 weeks, especially this last week. There's been a lot of rumours of Mike Tyson making a comeback, whether that be exhibition, pro, who knows, and just the thought of it. Because at first, when it first got announced, I thought, it's rumours, you know what I mean? It's just rumours, it's one of them, it ain't going to happen. But then it seems to be more and more real now, and like they're talking about venues and opponents, and it's becoming real. I'm like, do we want to see it as a boxing?
That's a good question.
See it.
I know the whole world want to see it, especially conventional boxing fans, the one that just want to watch fights. They definitely want to see it. Me personally, I don't want to see it, but there's this Jordan documentary going around right now on Netflix or on ESPN in the US. And Jordan retired, and when he came back, his words was, "I'm back." And I'm pretty sure that's the words Tyson used.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? While the documentary is going on. So it shed a lot of light on him. He looks sharp in his video training. Very sharp. I mean, he's a 53-year-old. Like, he's in shape. He's not a regular 53-year-old. Do I want to see him fight elite fighters at this point of his life, and knowing that he ain't fight in 15 years? Last time he fought was like 2005, and he lost, or he didn't come out for the 6th round or something like that against a fighter named Kevin McBride.
Yeah.
I don't really want to see Tyson with an elite fighter. Do I want to see him in charity and fighting for a good cause? Yes. Maybe like a retired old legend or something, because no regular heavyweight is going to want to fight him at a charity event. He does not fight like a regular person, you know what I'm saying? But seeing him against the likes of Dylan White or Tyson Fury or Wilder or anything like that, any elite fighters, Usyk, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
Yeah,
And he's a legend, so I don't want him to tarnish his. Don't think he will, but I don't even want to see. Just like I didn't want to see Michael Jordan come back with the Wizards. I don't want to see Jordan come back 15 years after he initially retired.
Yeah, I think it's. I understand. If it's an exhibition and it's for charity, say it could be, I don't know, egg guards, gloves, to raise money for charity. I get that, because lads still sell a lot. But the way they're talking, he's back. On the videos, he looks amazing. The way it's pads like that, you'd think he's 25. You think he's a 25-year-old. Looks very. I mean, look, if he hits any heavyweight with that power now, look, if Mike Tyson hits Joshua clean on the chin or Fury clean on the chin, yeah, he probably could knock him out. My problem is with that video. Very good. Look on me, kill me and you. You know what I mean? Kill us in 20 seconds. What I mean is that video is pads, and I think the clip's 20 seconds. It'd be interesting to see like a full workout, an hour, or even let's say 30 minutes. Then that's because that's more or less a fight. But the problem as well is that elite level. Let's say you was going to put him against Fury or Joshua. These are young fighters who train regular sparring. They're fighting at the elite level constantly every year. It's no disrespect, because look, Mike Tyson probably would. I mean, there's a big size difference. I get that, but Mike Tyson's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. But would he even beat a Derek Chisora now? You know, someone at that level, you know, like a Takam or like a Rivas. Would he?
I don't believe he will beat any elite fighters. And I'm sorry, Mike Tyson is a legend to me.
Yeah.
So I know when we think of legends, we think of them in their prime.
Yeah.
We don't think about De La Hoya at the tail end of his career. We don't think about Lennox, like all these legends. We think about them in their prime because everybody's going to, you know what I'm saying, old age is undefeated. Father time is undefeated. Yep. So everybody's going to age. So when you think about these legends that made their name in their prime, like the Alis and all that type of stuff.
Yep.
Right now, Tyson in the present at 53 isn't beating, in my opinion, he is not beating any elite fighters. He cannot beat any elite fighters, period. That's my opinion. He, of course, if you get a free shot, he's going to drop anybody, any elite fighters. But the thing is, in the mid work, is good to see him train, even if he's able to do what you said, Coach, and have that same energy for a whole hour. Me and you know, when it comes to sparring, when it comes to actual fight, and I can just imagine just the fight that I did in the low level that I've had one fight at. Imagine at that elite level, the distance, the pressure, all that. You're already fatigued with all the pressure before you even come out the first round. He's not, with the distance, and he's not going to be able to sustain that energy against an elite fighter, in my opinion. And like Tyson said in the past, using his own quote on himself, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. Yeah. And that's no disrespect to Tyson. And I'm not saying that he said he'll come back against an elite fighter. We don't know what he meant by I'm back. But I don't want to see it. I don't.
I mean, what you got to remember is as well, he lost to, like, you know, McBride and Danny Williams. Now, Danny Williams was a decent fighter, British level, fringe world title, fought for a world title against Vitaly Klitschko. I think he got knocked down like 3 or 4 times, maybe even more than that. And then he fought McBride, so he got stopped by Danny Williams. Now, this was like, you know, 2004, 2005. Let's check that. 2004. So 2004, he got stopped by Danny Williams. Never in 2020. You know? I know you can say he's emotionally better now, he's in a better place mentally, but you can't stop Father Time. And I would hate to see you. Imagine if he got knocked out by, like, let's say he had a warm up, for instance, then against some random, you know, some in the top 30 or 40, something like that. Look, remember what David A did when he's come back before the Belgian fight? He fought like a lot of fighters you never heard of. Imagine if one of them knocked him out. It's just sad, and a lot of fighters, they don't do it like that, but a lot of fighters, like, you know, stay on too long. Not only did Tyson stay on too long because he lost the fighters that really should have never, the ones that lasted a round of him in his prime, you know.
Should have retired after the Lennox Lewis fight.
Yes, he should have. Yeah, that was his last stand then. That was a big super fight. If he'd have won, boom, he's the man. And he lost, okay, it's time now. But there's so many fighters who either stay on too long or come back and they ain't got it no more.
I mean, he did knock out this fighter named Clifford Etienne after the Lewis fight.
Yeah.
He fought him and he knocked him out. He should have retired after that. Because after that, he fought Danny Williams and Kevin McBride, and he got stopped in both fights.
Don't get me wrong, he can punch. And he'll be 70 years old and he'll always have that ability to punch because it's muscle memory and he knows how to rotate his body. He can always punch. And they do say that punch is the last thing to go. You punching power. But you've got to question stamina, punch resistance, his ability to train, because the more, look, he's had hundreds of training camps. If you're counting, he's probably had 100 and some amateur fights. Or, you know, then he's had, 50 some pro fights. That's wear and tear on your body. And especially now at 53, is he 53? At 53 years old.
Yeah, he's 53, yeah.
At 53 years old, you're going to have wear and tear through a training camp. How can he go through a full training camp without some form of injury? Oh, look, I understand. I ain't got a problem with it if it's like an exhibition. If it's an exhibition, 3 rounds, Shannon Briggs, even a Holyfield or something like that. Egg guards, charity. Even if it's just for a bit of money, they need a bit of money. I don't mind. Look, they deserve. If they want to go in the ring, they can earn money. God, me the legend of the sport. Of course, no one can say anything about that. It ain't about that. I just don't want to see him get badly hurt, because in heavyweight boxing, Jesus, when they punch, the punch, you know.
And that's what the public needs to understand. Like, the people needs to understand that you're not gonna walk down the street and just pick a fight with Mike Tyson.
Exactly. No.
He's gonna knock you out your socks.
Yeah.
Definitely. But we over here talking about elite fighters.
We're talking about other fighters. It's not like,
so.
I think
we're talking about elite fighters. I'm not even gonna mention Shannon Briggs neither. No. I know that there was rumors about maybe a deal, whether it was bare knuckle or whatever. I even thought it actually was agreed, but come to find out it wasn't. I don't want to see him fight Shannon Briggs. I'm definitely giving the advantage to Shannon Briggs. He's still an active fighter. Yes, he's old, but he's still been more so active. I can see him fight Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson. I can see that happening because they haven't been active for years. You know what I'm saying? It will be interesting to see. It's all about age and nutrition now, how well them two aged and how well they can go into some form of training to train for an exhibition fight. You need to leave Shannon Briggs alone.
I mean,
maybe them two in their prime, but Shannon Briggs would definitely be. I don't want to see him fight Tyson.
I mean,
just don't.
Shannon Briggs. The only reason Shannon Briggs is down. Look, Shannon Briggs could punch anyway in his prime. But what I'm saying is Shannon Briggs is more active. Shannon Briggs last fought probably like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe.
Yes, and I think that he's still been active. I think promotion-wise, he hasn't been able to get a fight.
Yeah.
And a lot of fighters be seen on the shelf, still training, waiting for a fight date.
Yeah.
I think Shannon Briggs fall in that category. Tyson is being seen on the couch.
Yeah.
It's two different things.
I mean, look, I ain't saying like Tyson could have, been training, but what I'm saying, he's had a lot of, he's got a lot of adventures. Like, he's got his marijuana plantation thing, and then he's got that hot boxing podcast. Briggs mainly revolved around selling fights and fighting. That's what he is, you know what I mean? Let's go, champ, and all stuff like that. He might sell some hoodies and t-shirts with it on, but he mainly, he's revolved around the fight game. And like you say, he last fought like a high level. I think he'd have been Vitaly Klitschko, and he went all the way with him. I think he went points.
I mean, there's this fighter that fights out of the same gym as Shannon Briggs that I follow, and his name is Mpgymbox. He fights at 140. He's a 140 pounder.
Yeah.
He trains with Shannon Briggs. He's an active fighter. So Shannon Briggs is still an active fighter. He just haven't got a fight date. He's training with guys that I think Mpgymbox 2 or 3 fights ago, he was fighting for it might have been the WBC belt against a guy named Ramirez or something like that for 140.
Yeah.
It was something like it. Yeah. I may be wrong, but he's an active fighter. He trains with Shannon Briggs. Yeah. So Shannon Briggs been in the environment. Yeah. Shannon Briggs been living the lifestyle of a boxer, whereas Tyson has not for years.
Yeah. I mean, so like you say, it's just, again, like you say, he's active without being actually fighting, but he's active. He's training, he's sparring, probably sparring all the while. Tyson might be in a little bit of a camp now. Maybe we don't know if he's sparring. All you've seen, he's on the mitts with that coach.
Don't get me wrong. When you're a regular 53-year-old or just a regular person, 40, 30s, and you live a life where you go out with your friends, you eat what you eat, Tyson's been a fighter his whole life. So even when he's not fighting, like everybody jump on Floyd's coming back. These guys grew up in the gym. This is what they do. Yeah. They're just not training at the level that they were in their prime or at the elite level. But their training is still nothing to a regular Joe that just live a life of, every now and then I work out. So I understand people being like, wow, look at him on the mitts. But to a boxer?
Yeah. No, I mean, look.
That ain't nothing. That's normal for him to do stuff like that.
Like you say, it's more, like I said, it's like muscle memory. He's going to be he can constantly throw like that, probably like say till he's 70, he'll be probably still throwing shots like that.
For
That's
sure.
if he's done that from
Yeah.
11 years old, and all the way, these have probably had 150, including his amateur, probably 150, 160 fights all in all. But it's punch resistance, it's the fatigue of training. It's because look, if Danny Williams is beating you, 2004 in 2004, what is it? Even a top 20, top 25 heavyweight is going to probably hurt you. Don't look. I understand people say, yeah, but if he hits someone like he hit the pad, I agree. But he's got to get to that target without getting tagged himself. That's the thing.
People don't understand distance. Yeah, you get that distance on the mitts, and the mitts is can help a lot, but the distance is totally different in the ring with a moving target and a target trying to hit you too.
What happens when someone hits it in sparring? It'd be interesting to see the spar. If he can get a decent opponent,
So like this, I'm for a Evander Holyfield and Tyson. I mean, Evander Holyfield, I think, came out and might have said that he'll be willing to do like a charity match for a good cause.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that, but don't bring in the Shannon Briggs or elite fighters in the conversation. Like, I know the public, and I'm not trying to insult the public intelligence, but how smart the public is. But sometimes we're just so quick to jump, and me included, for things that we see online, like Floyd in the gym or Tyson making a comeback. Like, we gotta be realistic here. Like, these pros are real pros. Like, they got a license to kill. I don't want to see Tyson coming back or any of our legends for that matter, because you put the gloves up, and I'm sure in some form you put the lifestyle up. You don't follow the same lifestyle retired than you did as an active fighter. That makes a big difference when you're trying to make a comeback. And now let's think about old fighters that either fought old or try to make a comeback. I mean, I can think of Bernard Hopkins. He was 51. He got knocked out in his last fight in the 8th round because Father Time is undefeated. And he was active the whole time. So then I can bring up a fighter named like George Foreman. He retired in 1977. And I think he came back 10 years later between 87 and 97. Yeah. So he was 10 years active, right? And he had some wins when he came back. But his last fight, he was about 48 years old. And he lost to Shannon Briggs, matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? And I know only one fighter that actually was locked up for 26 years in the penitentiary, came out and became a pro at 52. And he fought under Bernard Hopkins. I forgot who Hopkins was fighting, undercard, for a 4-round fight. He beat some guy named Larry Hopkins or something like that. It was a 4th-round fight. He won on the unanimous decision. Yeah. But I don't know what kind of level of fighter that guy was, whatever. I don't assume he was a great level. But Tyson to come out after 15 years and fight these Dylan Whites, Tyson Fury, Wilder, or all these active fighters, that's ludicrous to me. Like, ludicrous. That makes no sense if the public believe that's gonna happen.
I mean,
I'm not trying to see a legend put his life on the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I was thinking. I mean, we don't actually know. No one's come out and said, right, he's going to fight a top 10. But
no, we're not saying that.
Rumors are. You hear rumors that he's back. He actually wants to fight for the heavyweight title again. And so you're like, you know what? I mean, a lot of people are going to probably disagree with me, but styles make fights. Yes, styles make fights, and I just think the size difference of Joshua and Fury would have been a problem for Mike Tyson. Same as look at Lennox Lewis. He was a problem. One, because I think Lennox Lewis was a better boxer, and he was his distance. He gauged distance better. He had a very good jab and a good right hand. I think prime Mike Tyson beats everybody else. Everybody. I think he beats White. He beats Ruiz. He beats Wilder. He beats Povetkin. He beats all of them because they're not that big. You know, they're not that. Whereas in they could pose problems. That's not saying, oh my God, I can't believe you just said Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. No, look, I think in my opinion, like I say, I'm not discrediting him. I think Mike Tyson beats Muhammad Ali. And I was like, oh, he's the greatest. No.
Me too.
I think styles make fights. And I think the way I see it, and everyone's like, oh, well, look, Tyson, look, if Joe Frazier can get Ali to the ropes repeatedly in a fight, and in the first fight, Joe Frazier knocked him down, and Henry Cooper rocked him to his boots. Muhammad Ali was gone, absolutely gone. And they cut the round short. He got back on the stool. He was gone. He was out on his feet. Muhammad Ali was out on his feet to Henry Cooper. Henry Cooper and Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier is a very good fighter, Hall of Famer, brilliant fighter. But in my opinion, he's not a Mike Tyson. He's same sort of style, bobbing and weaving and that, but Mike Tyson's faster and he's more powerful. I think he'd catch Muhammad Ali. I think he'd catch him early and knock him out. Because nine times out of 10, when Mike Tyson had you, especially prime Mike Tyson, he was finished. So I'm not discrediting. I'm just saying it's size. Like back then in the 90s, 80s, and the 70s, heavyweights. They were heavy. A big heavyweight was 6'3", 6'4". That was a big heavyweight. He was a big heavyweight. Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis was like freaks. They was in the late 90s. They was like 6'6". These are giants. You look at the record. George Foreman was a huge heavyweight. You look at now. There's a picture somewhere. George Foreman and Tyson Fury. Look at the difference. It's crazy. These days now, especially like your top Wilder height wise, yeah, but not like weight wise. But they're like super heavyweights. They do that.
I agree. I totally agree. I completely agree with you. And by the way, folks, my comments is for the fans out there that would be pushing or hoping for Tyson to come back and fight elite fighters. That's what my comments are towards. Those kind of fans. Don't wish that on a legendary fighter. And as far as Tyson Ali of subject, yeah, I got Tyson knocking out Ali. Period.
Do I think Muhammad Ali? Yeah.
Tyson will stop Cassius Clay.
Yeah.
Because Cassius Clay to me is the better version of Muhammad Ali, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course, yeah. What they say, there's two. Cassius Clay was a prime. He was unbelievable.
Cassius Clay was better skilled.
Yes.
And Ali was better, mentally stronger than Cassius Clay, but Clay was more skilled, in my opinion.
It breaks down to styles. I mean, I know we're going a little bit off subject, but like I said, Tyson would beat Ali, yes. But do I think Ali's more of an all-time great? Yes. And it's weird, but I'll pick Mike Tyson beating Ali. So how can you not? Because it's what he did. Muhammad Ali won all his big fights. No disrespect to Mike Tyson, but Tyson lost most of his big fights. Ali won most of his big fights. That's the reason.
Tyson is known for his ferociousness and how explosive he was, how much of an athlete he was, and when he smelled blood, just know it was over. You couldn't go to the bathroom, no break or nothing. Like you couldn't go to the kitchen, go grab you a bowl or some popcorn or anything. Like you're gonna miss some. But my thing is, people forget like how many legendary fighter has Tyson actually fought? Like let's be real now. People always talking about Tyson. He's a legend, but Ali accomplished way more in the sport. And he fought more Hall of Famers than Tyson did.
Yeah.
I can name two right now at the top of my head, which is Holyfield and Lewis, and he lost to both of them.
There's another one.
I can name
Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes.
Larry Holmes was at the end of his career. I give him that. But that's the three I can name. And then it's all about at the time, at the moment, who the person was. You gotta. So it's resumes. There's all kinds of stuff. You can't just put one fighter against another and be like, oh, he'll beat him, so he's better than him. It's also what they accomplished.
Tyson, this is the thing. Like, say, I mean, I know we've said like, I think he beat Ali.
Yeah.
I think he'd always lose to Lennox Lewis. People have their own opinions. Oh, he wasn't in his prime. I agree, but I don't think a prime Mike Tyson and a prime Lennox Lewis. I just think Lewis was all wrong for him. I just do.
I agree with you on that one too. I believe he'll beat Holyfield though in his prime if they both win it.
Yeah, because he's similar. Yeah, because he's similar. But what
Tyson jab, Lennox jab.
Yeah, but what shocked me in the Holyfield fight, Tyson hit him clean, and he just shook it off. And he was like, you know, when Canelo hit GGG with that big right hand, and he just like shook it off and carried on. I'm like, wow. But the thing with Tyson, I think what everyone, why he was so big, because really, if you're looking at heavyweights, the two most famous heavyweights in the history of boxing are Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. There's been better heavyweights than Mike Tyson. You know, and stylistically, look, Lennox Lewis would, in my opinion, would be too big for Muhammad Ali. And it was like, oh my God, how can you say that? Look, Muhammad Ali was 6'3", Lewis is 6'6", and a lot heavier, loads heavier. But the reason, I think the crossover appeal with Tyson was he was infamous. He was the first. Well, in my thought process, there was two, as in the nasty, horrible, scary heavyweights was Sonny Liston and Mike Tyson. Everyone says George Foreman, but George Foreman didn't have that nasty persona outside the ring. He was mean, not the serious face, but he won. I mean, look at him now. He's selling George Foreman grills, and you know what I mean. He's a preacher. But Mike Tyson was the one where, you know, he'd eat your children. He'd say he'd eat your children. You know, he had the press conference fight with Lennox Lewis and bit Lennox Lewis's leg. He bit Evander Holyfield's ear off. He served time for rape. He had that violent tendency. He could just flip in a second. Like they say, his nickname was the baddest man on the planet. There's a difference between being the greatest man. Muhammad Ali, everyone loved him. He was great. You're the baddest man on the planet. He was scared. Like I said, when I went to Vegas, I met him. And when he walked in that room, there's an aura. He was like, when he walked in the room, everyone, took notice. He's got that aura. And that was now, God, I mean, that was 5 years ago. So he'd have been, 48? He'd have been 48 years old. Imagine him when he was like 28, 25, 28, that intimidation. He had the art of intimidation. Like the same, most people who went in the ring with Mike Tyson was beat before they got in there. If I remember right, there's a story with Frank Bruno. I think Nigel Benn might have said it. When Frank Bruno was in the changing room, Frank Bruno fought him twice, didn't he? Frank Bruno fought Mike Tyson twice.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the first or second time. And Nigel Benn carried the Union Jack flag into the ring. And Frank Bruno was pacing up and down the ring like a tiger. They said he was like a caged tiger. Don't forget, bigger than Tyson, could punch as well, Frank Bruno. Yeah? Cage, nasty looking face, pacing up and down the changing room. They called him up, okay, you're next. Walked out to the arena. As soon as they opened the curtain, all these people in the crowd was like, showing like slit throat signs and this. And he said he changed when you go in the ring because you realise it's dawned on you. He was a scary individual. He was like, his personality was menacing. He turned up to the ring, the towel wrap, the white towel, the black shorts, the boots, no socks. He was like just playing, but he was ferocious. And then he got the tattoo. Even look at the tattoo. He was already past his prime when he had the tattoo. But even that, he was scared. He was a scary, scary individual.
No, I get what you're saying. You're saying that all the thing that you named that Tyson been through is basically like all this built up his mystique.
Yes, he
didn't. And his reputation, a lot of his reputation, followed him in the ring, and will intimidate some of his opponents.
You didn't just fight the fighter. You fought the brand as well, and the brand is.
I understand.
At the end of the day, if you're in fight, you imagine if you're in fight for someone in a camp for an opponent, then all of a sudden you see on the news he's attacked someone or he's done this, he's done that. Oh my God, I'm going to get in the ring with him. And I know you're a fighter. The first fighter, well, you say Trevor Berbick, to be fair. Not Trevor Berbick. God. Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas was the first fighter to think, you know what, I'm not scared of you. And I think that's what Evander Holyfield did as well. Evander Holyfield genuinely was not scared of Tyson, and I think Tyson picked up on that. That's why Tyson. I mean, they say the headbutts was coming in. He was frustrated, but I think a lot of the frustration was he was coming towards him constantly. Most people are backing off from Tyson trying to jab and move. He's coming towards you.
No, I get that.
And the Lewis fight, as much as look, I do think stylistically, Lennox Lewis is all wrong for Tyson. Tyson said himself when he was in the changing room because he didn't want to be there before the fight. He goes, look, I acted. You know, the camera was on me in the changing room. I looked, I was on the pad. I looked good. You know what I mean? I felt, but just mentally, I wasn't there. I didn't want to be there. I just couldn't wait to get it over and get home. That's not a fighting mentality. That's not a fighting mentality. You know what I mean? You want to get out of there right away. The chances are you're not going to win.
I mean, look, I do think Lennox Lewis don't get enough credit, man. We say about Ali, Tyson, they're the two most famous heavyweights, no doubt.
You know why?
And Ali got that brand of I'm the greatest. He's definitely one of the greatest. In my opinion, he's not the greatest.
No.
He's not even the greatest heavyweight. I believe to me, my number one heavyweight, I think, is Joe Louis.
Same.
But
Joe Louis.
I think there's only one heavyweight I can think of that could have fought in any era and would have been successful. And that's Lennox Lewis. He might be the greatest ever heavyweight, period. Don't get enough credit, whether it's because he's from the UK or maybe it's his persona. I know there's this conversation in the UK, like some people don't always back him up or whatever. Man, he might be one of the greatest heavyweights ever. I mean, he beat Shannon Briggs, he beat Holyfield, he beat Tyson, and he beat Vitaly Klitschko. That dominated the heavyweight class for years. Then his brother did. So, I mean, look, that's my opinion. But as far as the Tyson comeback, hopefully he comes back. He does not fight an elite fighter. Maybe it's going to be like, hopefully he doesn't fight Shannon Briggs. At least that's my perspective. My conclusion from it is like, okay, fight for a charity, for a good cause. You don't necessarily have to wear head guards, I guess, if you find somebody like Holyfield that's coming out of retirement. I just don't want him fighting an elite fighter or an active fighter. I don't want to see that happening. That's just my take on it, me personally. I don't mind him coming back to fight for charity because I don't think Tyson is doing it for the money. I don't think Tyson is doing it for the attention. He loves the sport, and I believe when you retire, you always get that killer in you, like that competitive drive. But you try to spread it in different ways. He put it into his business. But part of him, the love for the sport, I believe when they retire, never goes away. You might be overwhelmed, but that competitive nature to want to fight is always there. You just got to channel it in different ways. And maybe he at a point where he like, man, I just need to get back in the ring. I just don't want him to get back in the ring with the wrong person. That's it.
I think he could definitely do an exhibition. The one aspect where I think he'll take if he actually goes pro or not, how he does sparring. If he just gets in a sparring partner who's all right, a bit of a journeyman heavyweight or something like that, just to see how he gets on, and he gets beat up, then as his coach, because he's going to be already a coach, be like, look, you just have to be like, you got to be, you just have to give him straight because, look, you say you're a legend. I wouldn't want to see you lose to that caliber of fighter. But hopefully it's just an exhibition. But I was saying I want to watch it. I'd watch an Holyfield Tyson exhibition. I would, I would.
I would too.
I would. I'd watch
They're
that.
two legendary fighters, and I wouldn't feel as nervous because they've been out of the sport for so long, Yes, they can still hurt each other. Don't get it messed up. Each time you get in the ring, there's a risk. And no matter what level, no matter how good of a fighter you are, anybody that gets in the ring can cause harm to each other. But I would feel more at peace to see them two than to see one of them against an elite fighter. And that's where I'm coming from. Like, I'm tired of seeing boxers land the sport, retire them. Like, all of us that's just fans that just watch, we forget about these legends that's now can't even move, can't even talk, can't even interact with their family. We forget about them because they're not in the limelight no more. We move on to the next attraction, the right now.
Yeah.
But I feel for these boxers. Like, I want them to be able to go back to their family and talk and move. I don't want them finishing like how some of our legendary boxers ended. Yeah. So I don't push for fighters to come out of retirement. You know what I'm saying? Leave Floyd alone, leave Ward alone, and leave Tyson alone. Who cares what they do in the gym? That's what they do. That's been their whole life.
What I think, what's changed now when Tyson fought, and you look, I mean, to be fair, Tyson does sound like he's still got his faculties. He don't sound punch drunk. He's always spot. You know, but look, Holyfield's slurring real bad. Larry Holmes and all that. Larry Holmes fought way past his prime. Larry Holmes shouldn't have been in the ring with Mike Tyson. Shouldn't have been.
No. But Ali should have been in the ring with Larry Holmes.
Exactly. But what I'm saying, the reason being why this comes down to, mate, some of it is you want to keep. A lot of fighters are addicted to the limelight. They want that rush. They want the entrance and all eyes on them, and then they walk to the ring and that feel again. They want that. You know, look, you're a centre of attention. You know, that's got to be hard. Imagine being the whole world is watching you. Then all of a sudden you just go back to your normal house, the quietness. You know, it's strange. But what I think a lot of it is, especially back then, is a lot of the time back then the promoters used to rip them off. Mike Tyson got done over so bad by Don King. Don King ripped him off. I ain't saying it's just Don King, his managers, whoever was at the time. You know, I mean, God, mate, he was net worth like 300 or 400 million. Back then, so everyone, look, and this is what I found this out the other day. But he had in like the late 90s, the early mid 1990 to 1995. He had like 300-400 million around him, right? Inflation, you look at the inflation rate and stuff like that. That back then was probably worth like 700-800 million. Back then, it was.
Yeah, I know he blew a lot. He blew a lot of money.
Holyfield was worth like 300-400 million back then. That probably was like 600 million. Inflation, it would have, it would have been. So everyone's going about Floyd and stuff like that. Yes, but back in 1990, I guarantee you, 300 or 400 million was probably like 6 or 7 now. It's close. But the difference is now is because all that happened with Don King, all the other promoters and stuff like that, robbing the fighters and stuff like that. Now fighters are aware of it now. Now fighters have got managers, agents, and a lot of fighters now have got lawyers. A lawyer is a part of the team. Everything the contracts are signed is a lawyer. Whereas back then, fighters would just be like, your manager would go, oh yeah, sign this. And they just sign it. There was no advisor. Whereas now, a promoter's going to go, would you sign this? And then you'd pass it to your lawyer in the meeting. Can you read through this? Well, no, this says you're entitled to. No. There you go. You've got agents. You've got all sorts of stuff now. Fighters now, and a lot of fighters promote themselves now. As well as a promoter, like Floyd Mayweather, when Floyd Mayweather was promoted by Golden Boy, he'd be Golden Boy as well as Mayweather Promotions. Pacquiao had MP Promotions as well as Top Rank Promotions. I think Pacquiao still get MP Promotions now. It's a lot more switch. It's a lot more in the fighter's interest now than it was 25, 30 years ago. That's why fighters had to come back. Holyfield had a lot of money, but he got married something like 6-7 times, had about 18 kids or something. Is it ridiculous? But that's going to drain you. All these divorce fees, they take everything. Fighters have got a lot better businessmen around them now who've got their interest. Back then, they never had it.
So they have, you say that basically you explain all this to say that in these times, you have less, I guess, incentives to want to have to come back.
Yeah, well,
you know look, because everything is built up for you to create something after boxing.
Yeah,
well, it's built up better than it was back then.
Well,
That's
look,
what you're saying.
you get. I suppose when you're if you're 31, 30, and you're earning, I don't know, Tyson's probably in what, 40 million dollars a fight. You probably at 30, you're sort of like, you're not that old, but you're not young. You probably never think it's going to end. I'm just going to. All I've got to clear. Let's say I've just bought 3 new houses. That's cost me like 20-something million. Yeah, but I can get a fight. I'll just get one more fight. I can pay that back. You know what I mean? And then, but the only problem is once I start losing, and against fighters I shouldn't lose to, you can't get that pull appeal anymore. Vegas is not going to want to pay you X amount of money for fighting now because you've not got it no more. And that's the trap they fall into. They've got to keep fighting because that's the only thing they know as well, unfortunately. A lot of fighters these days, they've got other ventures, like you say, they've got other ventures. I mean, if Mike Tyson had had that like marijuana ranch back when he was 30, or a podcaster when he was 30, and other things like that, he'd probably never come back. It was just because, I suppose, he had, like, don't forget, you become accustomed to your lifestyle. So the big houses, the cars, the holiday homes, the holidays, stuff like this, you become accustomed to that lifestyle. And so therefore, you're probably used to spending, I don't know, say for instance, just on bills, so your house, 20, 30 grand a week, could be, these big mansions, these 12-bedroom mansions, and all your staff who you employ in these mansions, that you become accustomed to that. So let's all of a sudden, I'm going to retire. Okay. But my promoter's robbed 30, 40 million on me. Oh, God, okay. Because don't forget, towards the end of his career, Don King wasn't associated with Mike Tyson. People forget that.
No, I understand. I understand.
Too late then. He's too late that because he didn't have the ability to. I mean, he lost to Danny Williams. If he'd have been still at the top level, he'd have knocked out most of them, and he'd still been earning 20, 30 million for. But towards the end, probably only got like 3 or 4 million, maybe 5 million against Danny Williams. You know what I mean? But he had to take it because he had financial troubles.
No, I see. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's the only thing to know. It's the only thing to know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Definitely, man. I know what you're saying. Coach, I got a question for you, man.
Yeah.
Because I mean, where's your stance? You want to see Tyson coming back, but you don't want to see. Is it the same as me? Like you don't want to see him against an elite fighter, or you don't want to see him coming back? Period.
I wouldn't want to see him come back. Period. I mean, the Holyfield. I know I said I'd watch it, the Holyfield fight on an exhibition. Yeah, but would it bother me if I ain't going to be one of like if a big fight, like let's say they make Haney and Lomachenko, and I'm like, oh yes, I'm looking forward to that, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, it's cancelled, it's called off. I'm going to be gutted. I'm like, oh, I wanted to see that, but if they make Holyfield and Tyson, and then they think, you know what, we're not doing it, I'm going to be like, oh well, it didn't really bother me anyway.
Yeah,
it doesn't really bother me. I just want to just leave him as he is. He's a legend. Everyone remembers him in his prime when he was ferocious, when he was knocking everybody. Leave it there. You're doing really. Look, I'll watch all his podcasts, well, as much as I can, the hot boxing ones, and he's obviously got his ranch and that. Look, wherever he goes, he's known around the world.
Sure.
His name's always going to attract a pulling power. He's Tyson. He's Mike Tyson. Leave it as it is. Leave it as it is.
I understand that. For just quick take to change subject real quick before we end this. What are upcoming boxers that's on your radar? Just boxers to look out for, whether you believe they'll become world champions down the line in a couple years, or they're really like upcoming stars that really gonna make a name for themselves in the sport, and you just think they're really talented. That's under the radar.
I think there's a British light heavyweight, Joshua Buatsi. I think he's very talented. I think more or less now. I'd be surprised if he didn't become a world champion. I would be surprised. I don't think there's anyone domestically who could touch it. Well, no. I mean, there's Callum Johnson and there's Anthony Yarr. Now, Callum Johnson can punch. 100%. He's got knockout power. But I just think Buatsi's more an all-rounder. He can do everything. Okay. He can punch. He can box. He can do everything. Anthony Yarr could cause him trouble, but no, I think Joshua Buatsi. And I think who could do really well He was a
Yeah.
very, very good amateur. I forget how many amateur titles he won. Maybe like 7 or 8 national titles, ABA. Dennis McCann, he's a bantamweight. I think he's 6.
Okay.
I think he's 6 or 7 and now he's a bantamweight, but he's very tall for the weight. He's very tall for the weight. So I think he could. See how tall he is? 1 second. See how tall he is? No, he's southpaw and he's 6-0, 4 KOs, and I think he's got a lot of potential. I think they've done what they do with, when they kept De La Hoya and that, even Floyd low, because look, he's welterweight, but Floyd is a genuine welterweight. De La Hoya is a welterweight to like middleweight. They keep him low so they can dominate early. I think Dennis McCann looks. I ain't saying he's going to be world champion, but he looks very special, very special. And I do like Sonny Edwards.
Sonny Edwards.
Sonny
Okay.
Edwards.
Okay. I'm start looking up some of these fighters. I ain't never heard of Sonny Edwards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, they're all on British domestic level, but I do think if I had to say the 3, I'd definitely think Bratzy should. I definitely think Bratzy's going to be a world champion. Dennis
but all of those are.
Dennis McCann's only 6-0, so it's early, but I expect I expect big things. They're like
big things.
Yeah.
By the end of the career, he accomplish. Okay. I got a few fighters too. Obviously, there's the obvious ones. I can say 3 obvious ones. I gotta name them. They're already world champions, but obviously, the promotion isn't all that. They're probably not known around the world. Definitely, probably not in the UK. I know everybody heard of Devin Haney because of Eddie Hearn. So that's one of them. Lightweight WBC world champion. Then you got Shakur Stevenson. I believe he's going to be a pound for pound #1 in a few years. That's my view. I'm really high on him. He's a WBO, featherweight champion. And then you got Teofimo Lopez, who's the IBF world champion at lightweight. He's supposed to fight Lomachenko, I think.
Yeah.
Apart from that, the ones I'm really big on is a guy named Jaron Ennis. He's a welterweight. He had a good amateur career. I don't think he made it to the Olympics, but he's 25-0, 23 knockouts. He's ready. He's somebody to look out for in the welterweight division, Jaron Ennis. And then I have another guy, is Chris Colbert. He fights at 130. I think that's super featherweight. And he's a WBA interim champion. So I believe he's mandatory to fight the WBA regular or whatever the other WBA champion, right? And then I have this female. She's a beast. She fights at 130 as well. You know what I'm saying? She was at the 2006 Rio Olympics. She lost in the quarterfinals. She fights on the top rank. Her name is Michaela Mayer. Man, she's amazing, skillful. Y'all just got to check her out, man. You got to check her out. And there's one guy from the UK that I also like. His name is Chris Congo.
Yeah, Chris Congo, yeah.
And he's 11-0 with 6 knockouts. And I believe he's somebody to look out for. And I think he signed under Dylan White. But I checked him out, and I like his style. He's very slick. But yeah, I got a few more. But if y'all want to check the ones we just named out, they're gonna make some noise in a few years, I believe.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Chris Congo was a 11-0. In London. Yeah, I think it's Dylan White. I think Dylan White promotes him.
Yeah, I think he does too. Yeah, he fights. I guess Dylan White got his own promotion going on, and he's under Dylan White's umbrella and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I got a few more. I got Joey Spencer, Richardson Hitchens, and Kenneth Smith Sims Jr. Kenneth Sims Jr. They're all pretty good. But yeah, there's a few talents on the way that's gonna crack and make some noise in the elite scene in a few years, I believe. So some fighters for y'all to check out or YouTube or whatever. But Shakur Stevenson, I'm definitely high on him. And Chris Colbert and Jerome Ennis, I'm definitely high on those people.
Yeah, I think boxing at the minute is thriving at the minute with prospects as well. Because I think there was a void. The welterweights are still, there's still there's top welterweights. The welterweights welterweight's probably the best division. I still think it's the best division. I mean, the second then heavyweight. I think, you've got Crawford, Spence, Porter. We've got to hope that Pacquiao's in the mix as well. If they'll fight each other, which they have so far, but now, like you say, the lighter weights, there's a lot of prospects coming up now. Quite, especially the lightweight division. It seems to be a quick crossover because normally what happens is you get like 3 or 5 fighters who are elite, they retire, and there's a bit of a gap then where nothing happens. But this seems to be where they followed straight away, which is good.
Yeah. No, I agree. And me personally, I have welterweight, the super middleweight division.
It depends where you're going to class Canelo as fighting. Same with Billy Joe.
I put him with the super middle and Billy Joe. So you got Benavidez, my boy Caleb Plant. You got Canelo. You got Billy Joe. You got Daniel Jacobs. And all the welterweights, I'm putting those 2 divisions above heavyweights. That's just me.
Yeah. Right, mate. Thank you very much for talking again for this week's boxing chat on the Mpgymbox podcast.
Definitely get the invite, Coach.
Yeah, just asking people to please like and subscribe. We'll be back this time next week for more of a boxing chat, different subjects. Thank you very much, Jace. Thank you very much for talking, mate.
I appreciate it, Coach. And I want to send a quick shout out to one of my childhood friends. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Twan.
Okay, thank you, mate.
You have a good one, Coach.
Yeah, bye.